I think it's that time of the week where we talk about last week's YouTube comments. Chat. I think we get to see what comments made the cut. And if you guys want to appear in this little segment that I do, all you gotta do is leave a comment on a YouTube video, and you might make the cut. You might make the cut. Like this guy, who said, "Man, this vid has been up for an hour, and more Greyman oriented buyout." Lamau, Lamau. You guys know that sometimes when I do market watches, things get bought out because of it, right? It's definitely one of those things that I can't really control too much, sort of. I mean, I could try to game the market if I wanted to, but I don't think that's super valid and super wholesome. But it is funny just to see stuff get bought out. Have you guys noticed that ever on anything else? Where I do a market watch and then, like, a day later or something gets bought out? I think it's super interesting. Definitely kind of a flex. Same time, good to know. The next comment comes from Make 750 per day with Emily. If you are not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary. And that's from Jim Ron. You know, that's a fucking deep quote. That quote goes deep and hard because it's true. If you do just the general boring stuff, you work a full-time job, whatever. If you don't challenge yourself, you won't end up doing anything amazing in life. Sure, you might get by. Sure, you might have some hobbies and do some cool things, but you won't actually, like, live, if you want my opinion. I actually live by this. I live by this. I do try to be a little more risky because I think it goes a long way. And definitely could be a bot, like 100% could be a bot, but it's an inspirational quote. I think it belongs. I think it belongs. I think it's a good takeaway here. Julian says Mario looks clean AF without the beard. Also, the content is fire. Have you considered adding a segment of you playing games with the decks you give profiles of? I'd love to see it, and also your train of thought going through games. I have thought about this. However, anyone that knows me and my view of deck videos will already know the next thing I'm going to say. People already do it way better to the point where I can't reproduce it. Basically, card protagonist and now boss battles. Those guys in our industry do duel videos so freaking well that anything else just looks like garbage in comparison. And I'm not all about that. I'd rather not produce that content. Now, I will upload any crazy replays that I ever see. But besides that, I've thought about it, and I'm over it. I used to do it a little more regularly, and it's fine. It's whatever. Next up, Irregular Mana. I think the Altar Heart V stuff, like Flame and Magna, will not drop below 30. V Armor Rush will be uber popular, and there's no way the alternate art will be cheap anytime soon. That's a good explanation. I do kind of like this channel. I like this analysis because, they're anime favorite, uber popular. Maybe they won't drop. I think it's definitely possible. If you guys remember Altart Lobo and Altart Aguni, those cards were hovering at around the $30 mark all their life. I do think they will drop below 30. I don't think it'll be much below 30, though. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Irregular Mana is correct, and only time will tell. What isn't tier 1? So, by the way, chat, I've went another week without seeing a toxic YouTube comment. Ever since I started doing these videos, the toxicity has kind of disappeared and dissipated, which is super interesting. I thought this was a toxic comment at first. What isn't tier 1? I thought this guy was just being a troll. So I responded with a whole bunch of decks that aren't tier 1. And then he was saying it was rhetorical. I respect the response. I wasn't expecting it. To be fair, tier 1 decks are a little more popular and what people really want to see when starting up a format, which is why I've been uploading only tier 1 deck profiles. But give it time, and I will upload the dung, like Shivamon, for example, off the top of my head, and all those other ones probably. I'll give it time. And you guys know I put tier 1 on my tier 1 thumbnails. But if they're not tier 1, I don't write tier 1. That's just kind of how it is. Next up is Robin Hartman. Hey Mario! While I love your videos, I honestly have to say that calling Alphamon a tier 1 deck is overselling him by a long shot. There are at least 3 decks, 4 if you don't count Armor Rush, that flat out counter or destroy Alphamon. His style of play is too slow to contend with tier 1 status. That would be like me saying green or red hybrids are tier 1 decks BT7. While I like the support for Alpha and BT8, he's nowhere near level of support. You can simply counter him by playing with Madoki. That's insane. Okay, so Here's what I think about that. Everything has counters, but X Antibody is effing cracked this format. I think that anyone that doesn't think it's tier 1 hasn't playtested against the deck as much as they should have, or their testing isn't quality. Because X Antibody, in my testing, has wrecked every deck in the format that matters. And yes, Alphamon can be countered by Madoki Betamon, kind of. Kind of. And that's not even a big counter. So what? You don't gain the 2 memory attack with Alphamon? Okay. You know what I mean? Whatever. And that's a big problem. You also have Oriyumon, the level 6, and you have Doragoromon that you can evolve and do as well. So, like, if you're having issues with memory blockers, you can play around them pretty easily. And, like, well, every deck can work around X Antibody. It's very hard. It's a big black stack that just fucks you hard sometimes, and there's nothing you can do about that sometimes. So that's my opinion on X Antibody. It is tier 1. I get what the guy is trying to say, and I respect the response for sure, but I think he's just undervaluing the deck a little bit. Black Tears. Don't know if this would really fit into your videos, but a how to counter portion for these meta deck could be very helpful. Maybe a single vid for that decks. Love your work regardless. I actually used to do this back in the day. Some of my earlier Digimon content was I'd pick a color in BT1, and I'd say, this is what the color does well, but also here's how to counter it. And those videos just did not do well. I don't know why. Could I revisit it in the future? I definitely could. I definitely could revisit it, and it's a thought process I've had, but I have some feels bad because I tried it once and it just fucking bombed. But, you know, the future is unknown. Anything could happen. I might give it another shot. Gabe Man. Metal Cannon, best card in the deck. Literally all through 7 I would use it on Brick by Hand. I played 2, used one, probably drawn on the other at some point, use the other one, get perfect hand. Metal Cannon's tier 1. Anyone that disagrees is just, wrong. Yep. Please get a pop filter for your mic. Now, I responded, I don't know what that is. And then someone explains what that is. I will get a pop filter. Don't worry. It's all about the budget. You see, what some of you may not realize is I do actually have a budget when it comes to these kind of things. I only spend X amount on certain things. And that's just it. So, I will get one eventually. Don't worry. Don't you worry. And if it becomes super, super annoying, I'll prioritize that over anything else. Digiburst. In Mario's tourneys, legal decks mean legal in North America. Do want me bring my Australian BT8 deck even though it's legal here. Just not fair. This guy, this Digiburst fellow, let me tell you, some people are luckier than others because he lives in Australia and got BT8 early. However, I always tailor to North America. I think Digiburst should be happy that I even let people outside North America play in my tournaments. Yeah, take that, guy. Soul X Cross. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary on Twitch. I included that. Because 1 year Twitch, woo! That's Saturday. But I also wanted to do this as a reminder of my contest/giveaway with Tefre. If you guys don't remember what I'm talking about this. The freaking Duncan Mario memes. If you guys would like to participate, all you have to do is download this picture, which is in announcements, and make a meme about it, and stick it in contest before Saturday night. And you might win a box of BT8. It's literally that easy. It takes you like, what, 5 minutes? And it'll make for some really good review content. We already have a bunch. We got a bunch already. And I want much, much more. So, yeah. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. There you go. Next up, we have Oz01. I have only 3 Alphamon. I know Mars only has 3. I hope that's enough. I think it is. I think it's fine. But a tier 1 strat you could use is buy a 4th at $30 now. And then Alphamon will rise when BT8 comes out. You will be able to sell it for greater than $30. So if you do end up using it, great. And if you don't end up using it, sell for a profit. And then maybe you make 10 or 20 bucks out of the exchange. Kind of cool. Ian Stewart, love to see Beelzemon EX price out. I would love to see that too. If I'm still doing the how much will this deck cost series when EX02 comes out, or before that, I will definitely cover Beelzemon. That deck is fucking great. I love it. I love it. Daniel Conwell, keep it up. This series is tits. Love what you're doing with the channel. Thank you. And who doesn't love tits? Just saying. A Vault, this content creator, who I will be doing things real soon. Hint, hint. Hey Mario, we love this type of video. Would you consider doing it or implementing a small segment that contains a max rarity version of these decks as well? That could be very entertaining to see how much players need to burst out their walls to go for full bling. A lot of people commented on the X-Antibody video in particular asking for that. So I did include it in my Market Watch today, Monday. And I think I'll do that going forward. But maybe I'll find a time to include it in the main series. We'll find out. It's definitely a good idea. And the final comment of the week goes to Jeff Kang. This is officially my new favorite series. Also, same. I love making content, and then I love getting instantly rewarded by it by having the fans actually tell me they love it. It's really good. It feels good. That's all for this week's segment of reviewing the YouTube comments. It's always fun to see these comments. Keep them coming, guys.